Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
Hello.
Hello there. Hey, Lauren, today, this is our 100th Wilder Show podcast.
That's amazing.
100. Mm-hmm. Isn't that something?
And they said it wouldn't last.
So, happy 100, Lauren.
Happy 100 to you.
100 Wilder Show podcast. That is this one. If you want to celebrate, maybe just like it right now. Like it for all the others, the other 99 perhaps you have not yet. Or if you do it every time, do it again. Let's all like it. Lauren, will you like it?
I will like it.
Okay. I have never liked our own pod. I mean, I like generally what we do, but I've never liked
You
our
haven't?
own. I never have. Never given a thumbs up.
I have.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying should or shouldn't. I'm just saying I never have, but this time I will. So there you go.
In honor of our 100.
That's right. Everyone, as I told you a long time ago, every 100 podcasts, I will like it. Now, I have shared it before, obviously.
Yeah.
We've shared it. Anyway, like it if you'd like. We appreciate it. Instagram, find us on Instagram, Wilder Show Pod. If you want to email us, until Lauren, congratulations. And how could she possibly put up with all this? Just email to podcast@wildershow.com. Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, also on the TikTok. Wherever you get your podcasts right now, please like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. And we appreciate that. On Thursday, actually last week, when we were just wrapping up our time on the podcast, I was driving away and I was listening to Jake Tapper, and his show is called The Lead at CNN. I think it's on like 4 to 6 or something. So I was listening right at 4 o'clock to Jake Tapper. And the first story out of the box was this story about the D.C., the J6, the January 6th D.C. pipe bomb guy.
Right.
Been looking for him for almost 5 years. And he was accused of placing pipe bombs outside the RNC headquarters in D.C. and the DNC headquarters in D.C. the night before January 6th. So January 5th, because the next day was going to be the day that the election was going to be certified. And so allegedly, someone placed these pipe bombs there outside the DNC and RNC headquarters. So there was an arrest that was made right around the time that Jake Tapper's show begins. And here is what he said first. He said, this is a quote, Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion. And I was driving, so I wasn't looking at it. Mm-hmm. And you know this because I do this all the time. If there's something that I think one thing, I say, wait, let's just flip it. Just flip it.
Right.
If it was exactly opposite, if that was a man, not a woman, what would I feel about it? If it was a woman, not a man, how would I feel? If it was a whatever, an American, not a whatever, how would I feel? A Republican, not a Democrat, how would I feel about that? And just kind of test myself on that. Mm-hmm. So my gut was that seemed gratuitous. The fact that the guy's white doesn't matter. It's not like we're looking for him.
Right.
There was no be on the lookout, right?
Where you'd need a description.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're
looking
for a 30-year-old, male, white, 5'6", 117 pounds or whatever. It wasn't like that. This was someone that had been captured and been arrested. So I thought, that's weird. I really don't think he would announce that the man that was arrested was black. If in fact he was black, I don't think he would. And it turns out he wouldn't. Because you know what?
What?
He identified Brian Cole Jr. as white, but in fact, Brian Cole Jr. is black.
So did he say that while there was a picture of the guy up on the screen, or did the picture come up later?
No, like moments later.
Okay.
Because I went back and watched. This is how crazy I was about it. Because I listened for the remaining painful hour and 45 minutes for the correction.
Uh-huh.
But I went back and watched the very first thing again to find out when was that picture placed. And so what happened was he starts with it and he says this stuff. And then he says, let's go to Brian Todd on the streets of wherever, Virginia. And Brian Todd is the reporter. Used to be here, I think, with 5 or 11 or 4 someplace. Mm-hmm. So it goes to Brian Todd. And then Brian Todd says, we now have the photos that have been released of Brian, whatever his name is, Jr., Brian Cole Jr.
Right.
And they released the pictures. And there they are. The guy's black. Now, my whole thing is there was a moment very quickly after he made that mistake, and mistakes can be made by anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He made that mistake, but I don't think he would have made the mistake by misidentifying a white man as a black person. He misidentified a black man, calling him white. I thought, my gut was, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
You've captured the guy. What does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
You're not looking to identify, which group is he in? But they were. They wanted, that is purposeful.
You mean they wanted him to be a white guy?
It wasn't.
It made their narrative stronger
maybe,
for it to be white guy.
I think maybe because what they really wanted to find out was, is this a MAGA guy? And a MAGA guy is more likely to be a white guy.
A white guy.
They wanted some white, sort of white redneck looking guy who would go out there throwing bombs here and there, like Johnny Appleseed putting bombs here outside the headquarters. So it played into in there. But the point is, it was gratuitous. They didn't need to say that. And I didn't believe, my gut was, there is no way they would say Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old black man from suburban D.C. area. They wouldn't say that. But they did because he was white. Mm-hmm. I felt guilty initially for the way I felt. And then I felt a bit, frankly, vindicated. No, I wasn't wrong to feel that way.
Yeah.
That is consistent with what we hear. In fact, if you watch any of this stuff over the weekend, there's a whole litany of stories where people have been identified as white. They're clearly not white. Mm-hmm. The guy was arrested for this. I just don't know what the interest is in identifying people by race on either side. And what was really interesting was not the next story after that, but the next story had to do with this very same thing, the J6 pipe bomber suspect, and that there was an article in The Blaze. The Blaze is Glenn Beck's outlet. And The Blaze, Jake Tapper is talking about this article in The Blaze this contention that they had that it was in fact a woman, not a man. And how much trouble are they in for identifying the person as a woman? Why can't they just correct themselves? Clearly by now they know it wasn't a woman. Mm-hmm. I mean, we know it's Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old man. So clearly it's not a woman. Why can't they just go back and correct what is clearly a mistake?
Maybe for the same reasons you're not.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Except it was really stark to have him say it was a 30-year-old white man. And literally seconds later, there are 4 montage pictures of a 30-year-old black man. A black man who walks his Chihuahua, and no matter how cold it is, always in shorts with green Crocs, what the neighbors said.
Yeah.
Always wearing headphones and would only say hello to people, but that was about it. Maybe they think that, I don't know whether, I don't think that's not racially specific,
no,
right?
Not at all.
The wearing of shorts or green Crocs or headphones or having a Chihuahua.
No.
Anyway, for whatever reason, they wanted him to be white, and he wasn't, and they never corrected it. I don't get it. All roads can lead to Seinfeld or The Godfather, in this case Seinfeld, where you have George telling Jerry something and saying, you never know. And Jerry says, sometimes you do. And so I would say to myself, you never know. But really honestly to myself, I said, sometimes you do. This is not a surprise that they would make this kind of mistake and then they wouldn't correct it. If it were a mistake, it seems like they would correct the mistake. Just because something's wrong doesn't mean it's a mistake. A mistake means you did not intend what you said.
There's no way that couldn't have been a mistake. I mean, if they have a picture of the guy.
It was stupid, but that doesn't.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I think it seems to be, just think of it from a journalistic standpoint, just journalism. You want to be perceived as a journalist. If you make a mistake and say someone made $1 trillion last year, but it turns out was $1 billion last year, you don't not correct it.
Yeah. Warner
Brothers Discovery buyout. This is a little bit complicated. You're a movie person, though, right? You probably follow all this.
I'm somewhat of a movie person. I've read some things about this, but I certainly couldn't educate anyone. I don't know enough. I've heard people say this could be the end of movies. as we know. Well, that it could change the
terrible.
movie experience, that there would be fewer movies that would be released to theaters. There are already fewer movies that are released to theaters, and the time that they spend in theaters is already
shorter,
painfully short for those of us who try to see as many. Well,
I think it's not going to change. As long as there are people that will be willing to pay to go to the theater, there'll probably be theaters that will house those people who want to watch movies there. Now, they may not have it there for 12 weeks. It may be there for 3 weeks. And you got to find a way,
those
or
days
2
are already
weeks.
Over.
You got to just get in there because it's going to move on. In the olden times, it was like if that went away, we didn't see it.
I
mean, a long time ago.
Right.
They weren't waiting to come out on VHS.
No, you might wait until
VHS.
You might wait for it to be on broadcast TV, which would be years.
Yeah. So, I think it's not going to mess up. If you like going to the movie house to see a movie that way, it'll still be available. Here's the thing. Netflix made a bid. Warner Brothers Discovery, that's one company, and they own CNN, they own HBO Max, they own Discovery Channel, ID, or whatever those other iterations are of Discovery and different ones. They own all those. And, of course, Warner Brothers, the whole Warner Brothers property and catalog and all of those things. So Warner Brothers Discovery was up for sale, and they were taking bids. And the bids came in, and one of the bids was from Netflix, and it was for $27.50, $27.50 per share for the shares to buy them out. And it turns out, the winning bid, but it wasn't the highest bid. The win did not go to the highest bidder.
How do they make that work?
But they just chose that they didn't want to sell it to David Ellison.
Oh,
they didn't want to sell it to the Paramount Skydance people. They wanted to sell it to Netflix.
Right.
But Netflix doesn't want the TV properties from Warner Brothers Discovery. So they didn't want CNN, and they don't want Discovery or IDF, whatever the ID channel ID, whatever it is, IDTV, the different ones. They didn't want all those. They wanted everything else as part of the Warner Brothers Discovery package. And so it was Paramount, Skydance, David Ellison, who said, we're going to come in and make a hostile takeover. We're going to take this directly to the shareholders. Sort of like in the movie Wall Street.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I do.
They didn't try to just take it to the board of directors, and the board of directors said, okay, and the shareholders said, okay. They said, we're going to bypass the board of directors. We're going to go straight to the shareholders and say, we are offering you $30 a share, and we're not going to break it up. We're going to leave CNN as part of the package and different ones as part of the package. And by the way, that's very bad news for CNN if David Ellison gets it, because he's going to geld that thing like he has done at CBS. So, but is it going to go to CBS? Beg your pardon. Is it going to go to Ellison and Paramount Skydance, or is it going to stay with the Netflix offer? And that's what they're in the middle of right now. And I don't know the answer. I do know that it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to change everything for you. If you like watching movies in the theater, you'll be able to do that. Paramount will go, as we said, go straight to Warner Brothers Discovery with their bid. Netflix said, we'll take the film studio and HBO Max streaming, but we don't want the WBD, the Warner Brothers Discovery TV networks. We don't want those. Paramount says it's a better package if you keep it all together. That's in the best interest of the shareholders. And so we're going to make our bid directly to them for $30 a share. It's all very boring and businessy.
My eyes are a little glazed over.
I know. Sorry about that.
It's not your fault.
Basically, I mean, Tom Cruise will be king of everything. David Ellison tells CNBC, Paramount Skydance is launching the hostile bid to take over, quote, to finish what we started, which is a mass. They want to take over everything. And if they get it, and they may get it with the help of President Trump, they got CBS with the help of President Trump. So will the Don decide? Is that the deal? I don't know. I don't think so. We'll see.
I'm sure you've seen by now that Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy last week called for a return to civility, not necessarily in the way we behave on airplanes, although he kind of thought that that could be a byproduct of this, but in the way we dress on airplanes. We used to dress. I remember the first time I ever traveled by air. I think I was 10 years old. I was dressed to the nines. It was right after Christmas. I was wearing one of my best new Christmas outfits. I can really almost remember what it looked like, but we were sure, dressed up fancy to take that airplane trip. We don't really do that anymore. I mean, you kind of have a uniform that you wear every day. Look, I'm a fan. I mean, I think if one black long, you do mix it up with the undershirts, though. Sometimes there's like today, there's like lavender peeking out from under the collar. Sometimes it's green. Sometimes it's navy. Sometimes it's white. So you get a little pop of color in there right near your face. But a uniform is good. That way, you always know what you're going to wear. You know what needs to be replaced. If you got to retire something, you just replace it with another black long sleeve or whatever your shirt of choice is. I
want to defend my little, as you call it, uniform for travel. I wear pants that are comfortable, but they're not pajama pants. Yeah. They're also not dress pants per se. They're pants you could play golf in. Sure. Guys will understand what I'm talking about. So they're comfortable, but not too dressy. Yeah. I wear like a Carhartt sort of long sleeve shirt. Yeah. But then I also have either a half zip or a quarter zip anorak, which is like a windbreaker. It's got a hood. Yeah. It also has a pouch in the front. Yeah. And I do that because when I'm going through security, I take all the things out of all the pockets, my phone and everything, my headphones, whatnot, and put it in the pouch, zip the pouch up,
coins,
shed it,
mints,
coins, right,
keys,
lint, and take it, right, take it off, and I put it in the box in the tray or whatever, and then shove it through, and then on the other side I can pull it off and return things to normal. Yeah. And then on the plane, if it's cold on the plane, I have a little windbreaker. And it's got a hood if I want to. And if it's warm on the plane, I can take the windbreaker off. So it's sort of my plan that I developed a long time ago that helped on international travel and keeps all my stuff together, keeps me organized.
If you were a woman, we would call it a capsule wardrobe.
Okay.
So there's nothing. I mean, and that's a big deal. Okay. That's a cool thing. So for you to have a uniform, I mean, I meant no disrespect. Okay. By that at all. You always look presentable on an airplane. But I would say there's no surer way than to get people to want to, I think the hashtag is the pajama resistance.
That's correct.
Pajama resistance.
They're all
when
over
they heard Sean Duffy say this, they thought, well, now we're going to dress even worse than we were before. Wear my rattiest pajamas and my holiest sweatpants. And now we'll wear those on the plane. And it reminded me of something that you and I saw once at a radio station where we would travel fairly regularly. I won't even mention the city, but there was a woman who worked there and she worked on the morning show. Yes. And so she had a microphone that she was the only one who used it. It was like the co-host's mic. Yeah. And this was post COVID, but it was cold and flu season when we would be there, and every day when she would leave, she would put a big plastic bag over her microphone and kind of affix it with a rubber band to keep anybody from. It was a highly traveled room, and people would walk by. Mostly guys would walk by, and I think she just didn't want it to be somebody sneezed or coughed or something like that. She didn't want her microphone to be contaminated. But at a radio station, there's no sure way to get somebody to pull that bag off and cough on your microphone than by doing that. And that's kind of what I thought of, poor Sean Duffy, who's just trying to get us to maybe be a little more, I have a little more self-respect when we travel by. I don't know. He just brought people out of the woodwork who are now, determined to dress like hobos when they travel.
Well, all they really want to do is give the finger to somebody they hate.
They don't agree with.
That's right.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with what he said. I heard actually what he said when he said it.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, hey, dress with some respect. Some respect maybe for yourself and also for others. Don't wear pajamas. Don't come on barefoot. and just show some respect.
And he thought that was going to do what? He thought that would make us maybe behave better?
What he thought was maybe if we dress with some respect for ourselves and for others, we might then also treat each other with more respect.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, because he was the one that offered to do that.
Yeah.
The other side hates that because they hate him because he's attached to him.
Yeah.
That's the pettiness of all this.
Well,
what he said was not a dumb thing.
Yeah.
He was saying, let's restore some civility. He was talking about the umbrella was civility when we travel.
Yeah.
And there are lots of stories of people getting drunk and shouting and doing all kinds of things. And he was simply saying, hey, maybe one of the things we can do is let's don't go in there wearing pajama bottoms.
Though, now that you mention it, I'm trying to remember if I've ever worn pajama bottoms on an airplane. It's not entirely out of the question. If what he said was, or if you're talking about, we've noticed that alcohol has a lot to do with these incidents of people being out of control on airplanes. Has it ever been tied to the way people were dressed? We've noticed that more people wearing pajama bottoms are starting fights. And so,
no, I think
if he next recommends that we stop alcohol service on airplanes and close all the bars in the airplane in the airport terminals, then he's really going to have some angry people on his hands.
That's true. I would just say I think his message was a decent one. If we're having trouble with people flying, let's try and be more respectful, and maybe that could start by not wearing your pajama bottoms to the airport. Maybe we could start with that, but there's some people that will simply do that because it was said by someone that they hate.
Well, I don't hate him. With all due respect, I don't know if changing the way we dress is going to change that, but
I understand. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. A couple of political things. Colin Allred was running for the Senate against John Cornyn.
Yes.
Wanted to take John Cornyn's seat. And that was only until yesterday, because he's not anymore. He has withdrawn his name, and I believe it is because they're making room for Jasmine Crockett.
He's going to take one for the team?
You know who Jasmine Crockett is?
I do.
She is a troublemaker. And if you have watched her doing anything, that is not an overstatement. Jasmine Crockett. She is a pistol.
She's a rabble-rouser?
She is a rabble-rouser. That is the truth. Jasmine Crockett is a two-time congresswoman or two-term congresswoman, American lawyer, politician, serving in the House of Representatives for Texas' 30th District. Been there for a whole 2.5 years. Do you know how old she is? You know when she was born?
I only because I have the Wikipedia page pulled up. She's 44, born in 81.
She was born 1 month before I graduated high school. So Jasmine Crockett, she's launching her Senate run in Texas, going to shake up the Democratic Party. And you know what I would say? They don't get it. Just watch. They don't get it. They don't get it.
Yeah.
There is plenty of stuff that you'll be able to put out there, and I believe John Cornyn will do this. So she joins the race to take on John Cornyn. He does have multiple primary challenges himself on his side. He's got Kim Paxton. You got Wesley Hunt. Anyway, those are guys. He's got to fight them off first before he can get to Jasmine Crockett or whoever else ends up at the top of that pile. They've adopted one of my favorite phrases. Hillary Clinton had it. They had bumper stickers that said, "Run, Hillary, run."
Oh,
do you remember?
I do.
And you remember how I thought that was a perfect bumper sticker? Because both Democrats and Republicans would want that bumper sticker.
Could find a way to make it useful.
Yeah, because Democrats would put it on the back of their car and Republicans would put it on the front of their car.
Sell twice as many bumper stickers.
So run, Jasmine, run. Oh, it is time for Scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show Scattershoot. All right. 100th scatter shoot.
100th scatter
Yeah,
shoot.
make sure you like. Would you like, rate, follow, subscribe, share, all those things? Like, rate, follow, subscribe, share, or even comment. You could comment, say happy 100th.
Oh, that'd be fun.
You don't look a day over 90.
I do read the comments.
Yep.
Well, I don't go across all platforms. And I listen on one particular
I got you.
platform. Sometimes one or two different platforms, just depending on what else I've been listening to. Most of the time there aren't any comments, which I guess is okay.
That's okay.
I look sometimes with my eyes squinted, a little bit like I'm in a scary movie because I don't want to read. I don't want to read anything bad.
Did they hear what he said?
But be honest. You can be honest, and you would all be kind. I'm not worried about anybody who listens to this. But drop a comment.
Yeah. So like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. Even right now, here we are on our 100th scatter shoot, on the 100th Wilder Show podcast. I have one thing for scatter shoot, but I'll defer to you to start us off. I noticed that the Golden Globes nominations are out, and we'll take a look at that.
Okay, I got a couple of quick things. Yep. Getting less than 7 hours of sleep has been linked to shorter life expectancy across America. In every county in America, that is true. It's regardless of how affluent you are, where you live, anything like that. And the only thing, what that brings to mind immediately, then I can get, I have a tracker a sleep tracker on my watch if I wear my watch to sleep. The anxiety I can get if I'm not getting good sleep. So the anxiety then leads, adds to the getting back. There's something about, I don't know, maybe not for me. Maybe it's better for me not to.
I was going to say
track my sleep.
Yeah, I was going to say it seems like what if someone doesn't have anxiety until they're told that they're not getting enough sleep, and not getting enough sleep is an anxiety inducer,
or trying to make your sleep better. And
and then you're frustrated because you can't. There's no way you can get it done, and you get frustrated with work because it's got to start too early, or frustrated with personal stuff because it goes too late.
You think you got a really good night of sleep, but then you look at the actual details of it, and you find out that you really didn't get a good night's sleep. I don't know. I think I'm making it worse than it actually has to be.
I don't ever do the I do that one thing. I do that one thing for tracking.
Which
every now and then.
What?
The number of breaths per minute.
Well, that you're trying.
I have a goal, though. I have a stupid goal.
It's not a good. That wouldn't prove anything, would it? It would just prove that it doesn't mean you're healthier.
No, right? I can't even achieve it. It's just something. It's such a weird thing. When I was looking at the number of breaths per minute in my sleep, and I thought, "Gosh, that really seems low." Mm-hmm. And this sounds.
I wonder if I could get it lower than that.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But I've thought, but just to remind, this sounds stupid, but a breath is an inhale and an exhale.
Right.
And I say that because you can have a half breath.
Yeah.
Okay. So my record low, which is what I'm shooting for, is 7.5 breaths per minute.
That's so slow. That's nearly dead.
I know. Isn't that weird? I think the normal is something like 11 to 17 or something like that. 11 to 18, I think, is the normal range. Of course, I'm not normal, but I'm just curious if I could ever get it down to. I want to get it down to 6.
Yeah,
that would be one breath every. What would that be? 10 seconds?
Something. Yeah, exactly that.
That seems like not enough breathing.
You think?
Doesn't it?
I think
once
we've
every
talked about
10
this before.
seconds.
Yeah. So I guess I'm encouraged that is a goal that you have not met.
Not yet.
Is there a way to, like, if you're not getting good sleep, there are all kinds of things you can look at about, how your screen time and, when you eat your last meal and all of those things, there are things you can do to encourage better sleep. Are there things that you can do to get your breathing down to 6 breaths a minute?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
No kind of training or anything like that. Yeah.
And I don't really care. I was so curious because I thought that doesn't seem. It's on my resting temperature. My normal body temperature is 97.1. I'm a cold-hearted person. I don't have the normal 98.6.
Yeah.
So if I'm in 98.6, that's like over 100 degrees for a normal person. But everybody's different.
My red blood count is a little higher than
Normal people.
than average. Yeah.
Is that probably a good thing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we've checked it out. I've been to special doctors and to the hematologist who said, did all kinds of tests and said for some people normal is just a little bit higher.
That's right.
Than the norm is across the general population.
So what you're saying is that if somebody else whose normal is lower had that level, that would be a problem for them.
It could be.
But yeah, interesting.
Allowance. Your kids got an allowance?
They did. Allowance is a really weird thing, I think. I always thought it was weird. I don't think I really got allowance growing up.
I think that I might have gotten an allowance off and on, not all the time.
I mean,
we'd negotiate some new, like $1 a week or something like that. I mean, I wanted record buying money, bubblegum money.
Part of my thing was, as a dad, do we want to pay for things that you do just because you're part of the family?
You're keeping the household running.
We don't pay your mother to make the beds. We're not going to pay you to take out the trash, that sort of thing. So that was sort of the thing. But the other thing is, if you go down that road, it seems to me, then they have that money and they, within reason, can do what they want with it, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Depending on how you have it set up.
But the other thing is, then do you ever help them out? I mean, is helping them out sort of negate the whole idea of, I don't know, to me, it was like way too complicated. We did it, I think, but I can't remember what it was. I don't know what lessons were learned or weren't learned, but in other words, you could pay a kid a lot and say, now you're on your own. That is your money.
Or lay
and
it out.
We're not paying anything. We're not paying for movies.
This is what it's going to cover.
Yeah.
All, any
entertainment.
Your clothes, your entertainment, your entertainment. Depending on how old they are. Certainly, by the time they're putting gas in the car, they probably have a job to pay for things like that. I see where it can be. And I think we went back and forth when my kids were young, too. Yeah. Sometimes they would get an allowance. Sometimes they weren't getting an allowance. I agree with you on the whole thing that, you're doing a lot of these chores just because this is, first of all, you have to clean up after yourself. We're not going to pay you to clean up after yourself. And a lot of those things you're just going to do because you're a part of the household and we all work together to keep the household running. But then it's also good, I think, to get them familiar with the notion that work earns money. And then when you have that money, you have to learn how to spend it responsibly. Yeah. Well, there's this, I saw this thing and I thought it was funny for a couple of reasons. 61% of parents say that their kids are more financially responsible with money than they were at the same age. Children now earn an average of $52 per month in allowance.
Well, they are granted 50. You said earned, but they're given $52 a month. That is what, a couple of dollars a day.
Whether they're earning it because they're actually doing work for it, or they're earning it just because they're a member of the household, I don't really know. But that's $36 more than their parents made, even after adjusting for inflation. The way kids get allowance is very different now too. Digital payment method. You might just put it right on a debit card that they have. And then you can also track their spending too, which I think is really kind of interesting. But the thing the tooth fairy, you know how much kids are getting for the average tooth these days?
Is it $2?
It's $9 per tooth.
That is insane.
$9 per tooth.
So hold on a second. So a kid gets $9 for a tooth. But only $2 for a day's work.
They don't talk about the average age of the kids when they're getting that $52 per month. They might be out of the tooth losing years by that time. But I thought this was pretty funny. More than half of parents report that their kids have bought bizarre items with allowance money, including live spiders, bags of cheese, baby chickens, and knockoff collectibles. So they're buying Labobos instead of Labubus. And 32% of them said that their kids more often than not spend their allowance money on the same day they get it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You used to have a really good plan for that I thought this was good for my kids.
Yeah.
It was also good for me, too. If your kids wanted to buy something, give it 3 days. If
3
you
days.
still want it in 3 days, we'll go back and get it. And so often what they wanted had been forgotten in 3 days.
They don't care anymore. Yeah.
And if you hadn't forgotten, then we'll go get it. It must still mean something to you.
When I was a kid and we had money to spend, the money we had really mainly to spend was not, we didn't get it from our parents. We got it from working.
Yeah. Mowing lawns.
Mowing lawns.
I had babysitting.
Yeah,
money.
you baby always felt a little bit jealous. I never babysat, but I always felt a little jealous for girls because girls as young as, I guess, 12 or 13, 11 maybe.
I was maybe 11 or 12 when I started.
I think maybe we were probably 11 or 12 when we started mowing yards. But if I was 12, my brother was 10 and a half. So we were, he was younger, much younger. We're doing this together. But that's where we would get money. And that's where I made money when I bought my first television.
Yeah.
My little black and white, which I still have, little black and white television. And I bought my car. It was $1,500 for
That's good.
Yeah, $1,500 for a 1971 Buick Skylark.
Neither of my boys had bank accounts. I mean, they had bank accounts when they were little, but bank accounts that were their own until they were nearly 18 years old.
I didn't.
They had work that they did, but they never made enough money to need to put it in the bank.
Cash.
They had
In the old
cash,
days,
and they would spend it before the next paycheck came. They weren't doing a whole lot of
It's spending
serious
money.
saving at that time. My daughter, on the other hand, she had a bank account when she was 14.
Really?
Because of the babysitting money.
Oh, that's good.
She was making so much money babysitting that it wasn't a good idea for her to have all that money
Plus,
cash.
Again, for your sons too, probably, but since she's youngest, more likely for her even than it was for them, the ability to pay somebody with Zelle or Venmo or whatever is it Venmo? Yeah, I don't use Venmo, but Zelle or whatever, just to pay someone directly as opposed to writing a check or handing them cash.
Yeah.
Boom. It's in their account and it's done. And then they have a debit card. That's kind of cool. Golden Globes, they've announced the Golden Globes nominations. Now, you're a movie person.
I am a movie person.
And so do you
Golden
always?
Globes are television too. I'm a movie
That's right.
person and
That's
a
right.
television
That's
person. And I'm a podcast person. And now even podcasts are included.
I saw that. So the announcement was made yesterday morning about, who is nominated, what was nominated. And they have all the categories that you would normally expect. And you're right, it's television. It's also now a little bit of podcasting. And it has the movies, though. A lot of people pay attention to the movies. So one of the categories among the best actor, best actress, best whatever, supporting director, actual movie or whatever. One of the categories is sort of to mop up in a way that a lot of people have thought for a long time, hey, this may not be sort of a huge critical acclaim type movie, but boy, the American people really loved it.
I think people complain about that a lot, that the awards shows don't really represent the movies that people love, the movies that people really, go to and support with their dollars.
So they have a new category, and this is also in the Academy Awards now. The Oscars have the same category. And it is a category it's called Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. Who should we nominate based on what it has earned, what that movie has earned? And so I have the nominees. Can I share them with you?
Sure.
I think I've seen one of these. Zootopia 2.
Okay.
Which I think is very popular, so probably made a lot of money. Wicked for Good obviously made a lot of money. Weapons, Sinners, the one I saw, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, that we know made a lot of money at the box office. F1, the movie, has been out and made a lot of money. K-pop Demon Hunters, we know made a lot of money. So those are all the ones that have been out and were nominated for this category that talks about how much money it made in its release.
Can I ask you a question before you go? Wouldn't the winner just be whoever made the most money?
Maybe.
Or is
think
by
so.
somehow saying cinematic achievement and box office, they're somehow trying to tie the two
squishiness
together?
Well, maybe.
It seems like that'd be easy to decide who made the most money.
Yeah. I think it probably is. It's probably they don't want something that's that clean.
Okay.
They don't want to say, well, this made $1 more, therefore it's the winner. They want to be able to say, as my next example will show you, that perhaps they want a little say in all of this, and that's because there is one more nominee.
Okay.
And it is Avatar: Fire and Ash. Avatar: Fire and Ash nominated yesterday in the category for box office achievement. So F1, the movie, how much money has it made? It's nominated for box office. K-pop, Mission Impossible, Sinners, Weapons, Wicked, Zootopia. What they made makes them the nominee for box office achievement, except Avatar hasn't been released yet.
So it hasn't made a single dollar
Not
yet.
a dime. This is why people think these things are completely fake.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's pretty certain that it will. It is on the heels of two huge moneymakers.
You ever had the word
before it?
You ever had the word assume broken down for you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, assumption is a bad idea. We don't assume. The Paul Thomas Anderson movie. They spent whatever they spent on that movie. Anybody surprised?
Box office disappointment.
Anybody surprised?
One battle after another.
One battle after another. Where all the people?
Well, then I guess it won't win. It is odd that it's nominated.
I think it's odd that it's even nominated. Why would it be nominated?
I guess just for the expectation, but that is weird.
Now, it could be nominated. I can see other categories. If they have seen a preview and they know that's fine. But you can't preview the box office results.
Yeah. Is it nominated for other awards? Best Original Song, Motion Picture. That's it. Dream as One.
See, that I can understand. I can understand the pre-release, pre-release, they show... Well, Timothy Chalamet is up. That movie's not out till December. Until Christmas.
I think that it's because it's not like a People's Choice thing. It's not like everybody has to have seen it. They send out the screeners and they count on the people who are supposed to watch it to watch it, and then
And that's the part that I'm saying I do understand that. You put the stuff out, you give them the song, and you say, "Isn't this a great song?" Yes, it is. Okay, good. You're nominated. I got that. But box office performance, the dollars that were made, is not a category like that.
Not known yet.
It's not a category you could just presume or determine anything about.
You're right. I remember the first time you and I talked about this earlier this year. It was the first time I'd ever seen that there were two times in life when aging sort of speeds up. Like it might not be, from this age to that age, it's not really just 1 year, that a whole lot of aging happens at two times in your life. And one of them sort of hit me kind of hard because it was either at 60 or 61, right around the age that I, was turning at the beginning of this year. And there's another one too, 44. 44 is a super aging year. And I'm seeing more and more about that. I read something over the weekend, and it was a piece by a writer who just turned 44. And she talked about her own trials. She talked to a whole lot of other people about how everything just fell apart when they were 44, that this was really borne out in their real life. They had to stop playing the team sports that they had played. There was somebody who had to have a hip replaced. A lot of them were kind of outlier things. They weren't things that typically happen when you're 44. But just all, unusual weight gain and having a really hard time keeping it off, and joint pain and all sorts of things. And I thought, when I read the thing about 60, I thought, well, I read it and then I thought, yeah, maybe I am noticing a lot of those things. But the 44, I don't remember noticing that then. I mean, when I was 44, I think I still feel pretty young. I don't think I feel the age that I am. Yeah. And I certainly didn't then. I was busy still with a lot of kid stuff. When I was 44, I had 3 teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah.
My life was really active. There was a lot going on. There wasn't really time to slow down. I didn't feel any more tired than I ever had before. And I wonder if a lot of this is just the power of the suggestion that this terrible thing is going to happen when I'm 44 and again when I'm 60. And so, yeah, I'm going to feel all of these things. And if I know it's coming, of course I'm going to feel
Yeah,
them.
I think it probably is something like that. I mean, I don't know that. I mean, some people fall apart quite early.
Yeah.
And some, I mean, serious. And some of us fall apart a little later.
Some of us are happy for the excuse to fall apart.
That's right. That's right. So
it's not me. I just fell off of an aging cliff.
So I would say 44 is a weird number. I understand what they're saying. They're saying at 44, it's a big slide right there. So you're at a place, and then it's like slide, and then you kind of, and then down
like
to 60,
chutes and ladders.
60, whatever slide.
There's a chute at 44.
I am 64 now. Just recently turned 64. And yeah, obviously, if you're 64, you don't feel 44. You don't feel 24. I mean, it's different. There are some things that are different. Your body's different. I mean, you're older. Your metabolism is different. Your muscle tone is different. Your endurance, walking and running, things like that are different. Many things are different. But I never saw at 44. I'll tell you one change I saw at 40. I think we've talked to this before. I had, and I even read a thing that, this can happen. I had not a massive, but a fairly significant shift in taste bud preference.
In a good way?
I think in a way.
Opened up
more open.
That's good.
More open. When I was 40. When I turned 40, before I was 40, I didn't like sour cream. I didn't like blue cheese dressing.
You had a more selective palate.
Pretty selective, kind of younger-ish palate, I think. But honestly, right at 40, it just changed. All of a sudden, and it wasn't that I had never tried it before. If I tried it, I really would have liked it. It wasn't that at all.
Yeah.
I had tried it. I didn't like it. And something changed. And I've not had any other changes back or even broadening it more. But that was a change. But other than that, I don't know what. I think sometimes people, if you tell them things are going to be bad at 44, they go, you know what? I see exactly what you're talking about now.
I think that's it.
And at 60 years old, it's like, yes, that happened. Now, it's true that over time, there are things, if you have back problems, it's going to be worse at it. So you gain weight, your back's going to be different than it was when you were a flat-bellied kid.
I'm not saying that all of those physiological things that they say happen at 44, and I really can't remember if it's 60 or 61. The thing that I was reading about over the weekend was 44. I'm not doubting that all of those things are, borne out in science, but I do wonder what us dwelling on them does to sort of further whatever those negative things would be, or just put them put a spotlight on them for us.
Well, it's sort of like the whole thing with sleeping. If I'm, I have anxiety because I'm not getting enough sleep. Well, how much sleep do you think well, according to reports, I need 7. Well, before you read the reports, did you feel like you needed 7 hours sleep? Because every body is different.
That's true.
And every body is different. Every body is different. So before you read it, no, I was really happy with 5 hours, 6 hours sleep. I was okay with that. But then you read the report, and now you're only getting 6 hours and 45 minutes of sleep. And your anxiety has gone up, and you think it's because you're not hitting 7. I would say probably that's not the reason.
Yeah.
Mental.
A lot of it is mental.
It's just, I don't mean mental in a bad way. A lot of it's mental. It's a mindset.
It's in your head.
Yeah, it's in your head. It's in your head.
You and I have talked for years and years and years, and I know you have a theory about this, about chronic lateness. What makes people late?
Well, there are many things, of course. That I'm not. I know you're not asking me to tell all the reasons. I'll wait to be called on. Well, but I agree that there are many reasons why someone could be. You're talking chronically late. Okay, go ahead.
Always late.
Always late.
Like you're the person that they tell to be someplace 15 minutes earlier than you really have to be there because they know you're going to be 15 minutes late, and they're just trying to build in a little buffer. It might not be a lack of respect. It might not be poor planning. There might be real, actual reasons that somebody is chronically late.
Let's hear 'em.
You might be a multitasker. Maybe you're a free spirit. Maybe you're an overly optimistic planner. Some of these traits could explain why people are always running behind. Most of us are late at some point in our life. Some of us find ourselves, though, constantly running behind. And the question of why we do this has puzzled behavioral scientists for decades. I know you could have set them straight a long time ago.
Many times.
There was a 2003 study that found no statistically significant link between chronic lateness and any one particular personality trait, which means that it's not necessarily a matter of any individual flaw. There could be lots of reasons that people are chronically late. So if you fast forward to today, punctuality is important. People, they regard it sort of as a social glue. It shows respect for others. When you say you'll be somewhere at a certain time, it's a social contract. And if somebody is late all the time, they can be seen as breaking that social contract over and over again. Maybe they're seen as untrustworthy. Nobody wants that. I don't want that. I don't think I'm chronically late. I think I have struggled with punctuality at certain times in my life. I used to blame it on having kids to get ready to be places, and so that was my reason for why I couldn't be on time. But I can see a lot of the things here. There are lots of different reasons that you might be late, but there are also lots of things that you can do to fight against that if it's something that you want to do. There are a few drivers of habitual lateness. So if you see yourself in any of these and you'd like to change your ways, maybe this would be helpful. If you're an optimist, those are people who, this is where I kind of see myself. They underestimate how long a task will take, even when we've performed it many times. It's also called a planning fallacy. You assume that all will go according to plan. I kind of have two different two ways of getting ready. One of them involves washing my hair. One of them does not involve washing my hair. And I think if I'm going to get out of here, I can get out of here in this many minutes if I'm not going to wash my hair. That's never true, though. I mean, I've said, I say 20 minutes. It never takes me 20 minutes to do that. Okay. But for years and years, I still have this number set in my mind, and this is how long it's going to take me to get out of the house. And it always takes me longer than that. Here's
the part that I don't get about that particular one.
Okay.
About the optimist. If you're an optimist, but you have found again and again and again that your optimism
that I'm going to be able to do it.
That you're late, but it's like, well, it's not working.
I know.
I mean, it's like why would you? I don't think you've earned, not you, but one has earned the ability to be optimistic about it because you have proven that you're not a good judge of how long it takes to do something, or you haven't managed the time allowed to do it. So I don't understand the optimism part of it. I get what you're saying is
it's a false optimism.
Even though
it's a planning fallacy.
Failure will ensue, but I'm optimistic this time.
This time it'll be different.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Or this time there won't be traffic where there's always traffic. Yeah, I know that under the best circumstances, it's going to take me 20 minutes to get to this particular place. But when do the best circumstances at 11 o'clock at night when there's no traffic, or at 6 o'clock in the morning before there's a lot of traffic? So I mean, I think this seems pretty simplistic, but I think that if you're somebody who struggles with this, it's not silly to say, maybe, if you want to fix this, just double your initial estimate for how long it's going to take you to get somewhere or do something. If you think it's going to take you 10 minutes, make it 20 and just do that.
It seems kind of simple, like you said. I mean, I know, but won't people who, there's an old thing in business. I think it's the Peter principle. Whatever the principle is, that the job that there is to do expands to the time allotted to do it. In other words, if you give it 15 minutes, it will take you full 15 minutes. If you give it 40 minutes, it will take you full 40 minutes. But for the people that are chronically late, I don't know what. I don't want to, impugn the character of people. I don't mean that. But if it could be as frustrating to you as perhaps it is to others, it might you might be motivated to adjust and plan accordingly. I think.
I think you're right. Free spirits. free spirits score low in conscientiousness, which is one of the big 5.
Isn't free spirit a way of
traits.
saying I don't care about what you think? I mean, I'm going to decide what's on time.
There are positives to being a free spirit.
Well, sure.
But it's a big, conscientiousness is the biggest tie to punctuality. It's also a big, or a lack of punctuality. It's also a big predictor of success in life overall if you lack conscientiousness. So if you think you're low in conscientiousness and you'd like to address it, experts suggest just, wear a watch. Wear a watch, put a couple of clocks where you can see them around your house, not just on your phone.
Yep.
So, and I'm talking about people who really think that, this might be me. I've been struggling with this for a long time, and I don't want to do that anymore. Well, I don't want to be the one who's not trustworthy to be someplace on time.
It is many times seen as an incredible sign of disrespect.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the things I started this out with.
Your time is more valuable than my time is.
Uh-huh.
I can be here waiting for you, but you can't be here on time.
Yeah.
Now, have I ever been late? Absolutely. Sure, things happen. They're not talking about that. We're talking about people who can never.
Lateness.
There was a girl, I won't name her. There's a girl who we were kids going to church, and we would gather there for Sunday school as kids. And she lived the closest to the church, and she was always late.
Mm-hmm.
She was always one of the last people to show up.
Yeah.
I believe that there is a need that people have for control, that being late is a way of controlling. You may tell me what time I have to be there, but I will show you what time I'm actually going to be there. Mm-hmm. That's not just me. Psychology Today says it is a way to exert power or feel in control by imposing themselves on a situation and making others wait.
So is that something that they think people are aware of when they're doing it? Is it kind of like a passive aggressive way?
Totally
to
passive
control?
aggressive.
Okay. So I think I'm not saying that that's not true, and I'm not saying that is not a reason for a lot of people who are chronically late to be chronically late. These types of things, though, the things that I'm talking about are things that you might not even be. You might really be tired of being chronically late, and you don't know why it's happening or what it is that makes this happen.
Under passive aggressive, there are really three things. Number one is indirect communication. In other words, you have scheduled a meeting that I don't really believe is important, and I'll show up, but I'm not coming on time, and I'll show you, and I'm going to make a statement. So instead of saying I'm angry about the meeting, you arrive late. That's sort of your way of, quote, punishing other people. The second is control and power, which we talked about. It's a way to say, hey, you tell me what time I'm supposed to be there. I'm going to tell you what time I will be there. And the third one is disrespect, which I told you.
Yeah.
It sends the message, my time is more valuable than yours, or that the event or the person is not that important. And that's also in Psychology Today.
There are also issues of time blindness or distractedness that can come from neurobiological reasons. You might have a problem being on time, ADHD, dyslexia, autism spectrum disorders. There are things that you can do there to try to turn that around. The most important thing, though, is that experts say it is never too late to change or affect these issues. It might not happen overnight, but one step at a time, one changed behavior at a time. If you wanted to know more about this, if you wanted to read a little bit more about it, let me know. Podcast at wildershow.com, and I'll send you a link to the article.
Wilder Show Podcast. Lauren, look at that, 100.
100.
And many more. So congratulations, and thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
For 100 Wilder Show podcasts. You had to talk me into doing this podcast.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Maybe a little.
It came at a certain time, and I remember you saying, no, listen, if we start this, we can't just start it and then stop it. And I said, Lauren, if we start it, we're not stopping it.
We're going to do at least 100.
We're doing 100, then we're stopping. No, I didn't say that. I said, we're not stopping anyway, so thanks for the prompting.
Sure.
And it's always fun. It's always a little bit of a wrestling match, but it's fun. Instagram, find us on Instagram. you'll search Wilder Show Pod. If you'd like us, rate us, follow, subscribe, share right now, the thumbs up and all that. Leave a comment. Say happy 100, something like that. Those comments, actually for the algorithm and all that, it helps other people find the Wilder Show podcast. Email to podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube. We're also on the TikTok on occasion. So wherever you get your podcasts, please like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. Happy 100th, Lauren.
Happy 100th to you.
And we'll see you next time.
Da 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 da